Going live, everyone. Okay. It's 8:30. I call this meeting of the Riley County Commission to order. Please, everybody, join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Good morning, everybody. On this official last day of fall. The shortest day of the year is either tonight or tomorrow, too, or daylight. I would say day. There's still 24 hours in a day, but daylight.
I think it's the 21st.
It is? Okay.
So my wife said so.
I think you're right. And once again, I guess I missed the memo on Christmas ties, but I'll let all you guys be festive.
The 20th is pretty close to the 25th.
Well, Commissioner, if I was going to have any Christmas spirit this year, it would have already happened. So I guess we're just going to have to wait till next year. All right. And on that note, I think we'll just go ahead and jump right into some public comments this morning. I see several people on Zoom, but I don't think anybody is probably wanting to chime in just yet. We'll get to Commissioner Foki in a second. Do you have anything this morning, Shiloh?
I do.
Okay, we'll start in the chamber and I'll move ourselves around.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'm Shiloh Hager, Riley County Treasurer. I just wanted to come in this morning and just give everybody a reminder that today, first half real estate and personal property taxes are due. There are several options that you have to make these payments. You can either mail your payment in to 110 Courthouse Plaza today, as long as it's postmarked by midnight tonight. You can use our drop box that's located on the front of the building. You can also go out to our website and pay online. There is a 2.5% fee if you're using a credit or a debit card, and a $2 processing fee if you use an e-check. If you do need to come into the office to make your payment, I just highly encourage you to use our appointment system, which is also located on the Riley County website on the Treasurer's homepage. If personal property, intangible, watercraft, or heavy truck and oil taxes are not paid by today, they become due in full tomorrow, and interest starts accruing as of the 21st. Delinquent accrual interest rates for this year are 9% for annually for real estate and 15% for real estate if it's more than $10,000. The interest rate for personal property is 4% annually, and it's 10% if it's more than $10,000. We offer escrow programs, and we accept partial payments. If anybody needs any assistance, feel free to call our office at 785-537-6321, and we'll be happy to help you out.
So there are options.
Yep. We have lots of options.
There's a lot of people that need to understand that a little bit better. Okay.
Okay.
Appreciate that.
Thank you. Have a great day today.
You too. Okay. Any more public comment? Okay.
Kevin Bellamy, City of Riley. Promise I won't take up too much of your time. I just wanted to present the commission an updated petition regarding an ambulance in North County. Currently, we're pushing 500 signatures. So, there's a lot of attention that's out there. With myself being a Red Cross instructor, I had an AED CPR class that we held at Station 6 up there in Leonardville. Had an excellent turnout. But probably the first half of, the first hour of that meeting, you want to know what the topic was about. It was about, where's the ambulance? I can only do what I can do. With that being said, I understand you're going to have another meeting with the EMS director later this afternoon. I saw that, he is making a proposal for, first responders be stationed up in Leonardville. It's a good start, but it still doesn't take care of the situation, and the ambulances still needs to be up there. Now, with all that being said, As far as I'm concerned, having been in law enforcement and been a firefighter, first responder, whatnot over the years, and an ambulance, is to me pretty much a glorified transportation unit to get the patient from the scene of the event to the hospital. The first few minutes of any, I'll use a cardiac, heart attack, wherever the case might be. The first few minutes, when I say minutes, I'm talking anywhere from 3 to 5 are the most critical. So, I just encourage that, the commission will continue to take a look at it, review the options that are out there, and maybe even the possibility of having a volunteer coordinator that can work on behalf of the county to encourage, residents in the area to volunteer their time and their talent. This would all, because I already know that, the number of volunteers in the county is way low. And I'd like to see that increase as much as we can. So with that being said, I'm done.
Thank you.
Thank you. Merry Christmas, by the way.
Yes, you too. We have anybody else this morning? Okay. Thank you. Okay. Well, with that said, then I will go ahead and.
Just one more.
I have one more.
Well, just one comment. I
Okay.
just wanted to ask the board to add an executive session to my time this morning.
Okay.
10.
I move we add an executive session to Clancy Coleman's.
Okay, I can go ahead and second that motion then. It's been moved and seconded on motion to add an executive session to Clancy Holman's administrative service time. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Do we have any other comments this morning? Okay, seeing none, I'm going to close off public comment section for this morning, and we will move to commissioner comments and Commissioner McKinley.
Saturday morning, I went down to the mall for the signing for Snyder's. Signing for, it was a large crowd. Got there at 10 o'clock and I was it started at 11. I was well back in the line, but the line more than doubled behind me before it opened. So they said he was there till 1:20. He went through 4 Sharpies.
Yeah, that's what I saw. Yeah.
He's
For the record, I had mine a month in advance. And no line. And no line.
no, I
Yeah.
know. And then Saturday evening, I attended an event in Randolph. Someone has purchased the building where that Emerald City Grill was. They're going to divide the space into an open restaurant on one side and an event center on the other side next spring sometime. It's going to be called the North County. And Saturday was an open house to let people know what they were planning because people up there were curious. They knew something was going on. It was set up real nice and decorated real nice. And they had some snacks available. They had a visit from Santa, horse-drawn wagon rides. It was cold. I passed on that part.
Later there.
And it was really heavily attended. It's obvious the area is really wanting this. I talked to the new owner and another person who has a small business in the area about our Rural Economic Advisory Board. At least one of them will be sending in an application.
Good. Yeah,
They all
that's filling up pretty fast.
enthused about that, the possibility for that. It was, like I say, it was a well-attended event.
Somebody was asking me what they were doing up there, and I didn't know they were doing anything
Yeah.
up there. So no, that's great. Okay, was that all you had?
Yeah.
Okay, Commissioner Foki.
Yeah, good morning. Can you hear me?
We can.
Okay, good. Well, Thursday, late afternoon, I was in the car dropping off my dog out in the country for boarding, and I logged into the Zoom meeting of the law board special meeting, but I waited for a long time, but nobody would ever admit me, so I finally gave up. I don't
Never
know if
showed
it
up
was-
on our end. One
yeah,
other
I
member did, but yours didn't.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I was in the car and it was plugged in. I don't know. I just waited and waited. I finally said, okay, whatever. And so I did follow up with the chair later and got information on the meeting. So I'm up to date on that. Friday morning, we left really early for the 2-day drive to Virginia. We arrived late on Saturday, checked on the house, renovations that are going on, and
that, well, actually, the Army movers are delivering the household items today. So we're waiting for them to show up, and, you know, there's a lot going on. So if it gets really loud, I will move to another room. So I'll probably not be available for the law board meeting later, but we'll follow up on details later with the chair. I will be in our next 2 meetings via Zoom, and I am available by email or phone as needed during this time.
Okay, good to know. Sorry we couldn't get you on Thursday night. They kind of left me in the executive session to admit everybody, and I didn't see you ever pop up on there. So I'll ask about that today to make sure, because that may be an issue moving forward when we have special meetings, since it's hard to get 7 people together.
Yeah, and I don't know if it was because I was out in the country. I mean, it showed up on my screen, but it was, and I launched the meeting, but it just, I never got admitted. So, well, that's weird. I don't know.
Okay. Well, I'll ask the IT what that's all about and make sure that we're up to date on that. So
Okay,
sorry
great.
about that.
Thank you.
Okay, well, as for me, of course, I did attend the special meeting of the Riley County Law Board on Thursday. The reason for the special meeting, of course, was to start discussing and laying the groundwork to find a replacement for current director Dennis Butler, who will be leaving us and retiring on February 1st. It's literally just right around the corner. So we also had to discuss the obvious need for an interim director. There's just no way we'll be able to get somebody hired in a month. So obviously that's going to be crucial and important in the short term while our search kind of continues to move forward. We're going to be working on updating all the necessary information and background needed to advertise and to move forward with the position here shortly as well. And we'll just continue that process moving forward until we find the right person. So Saturday morning, I attended the Riley County Republicans coffee talk at Vista Drive-In. I've been over there for a while, gave everybody an update on what we're working on here in Riley County, kind of a summary of things for 2021 and a few things to expect particularly early from us here in 2022. Most of the other dialogue just centered around events taking place in the upcoming year. And of course, we've got that midterm election at the back end of things. So rest of the weekend for me, I spent watching some of the early college bowl games. That was kind of fun. A few of them were really fun to watch. A few of them had some controversial endings. And of course, I watched K-State dispatch Nebraska last night in Lincoln, 67-58. Rough game. Gosh, rough game. I'm scared to think of what's going to happen conference time, but I'm trying to be optimistic. But anyway, for the moment, Cats are 8-7-3. So we'll just take it as is. So, and that's basically all I've got. So we can go ahead and move to some of business this morning, Rich.
First item we have for business is the tax roll correction.
Anybody have any questions or thoughts on that? If not, we need a motion.
I move to approve the tax roll correction.
I can go ahead and second that motion, although a motion is on the table to sign a tax roll correction. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Hi.
One sign, please.
Next item I have is Riley County Personnel Action Forms, Kimberly Langhart, promotion, office manager in the County Attorney's Department. Ramsey Cubey for promotion as an administrative trial assistant in the Attorney's Department.
Vote that we sign, please. If I'm not mistaken, that should pretty much get them up to date, isn't it?
Yes, it will, except Barry will ask to fill a legal secretary's position. Ramsey was promoted to the assistant trial.
Okay.
But he's getting there.
Okay. Like a lot of our departments, we're, getting there.
Movers.
Yeah,
That's the construction she was talking about, yeah.
Either that or one of her dogs is bigger than I think.
Ready for the minutes when the board is.
Everybody have those minutes up and ready to go? Okay, we'll go ahead and start with page 1. Page 2. Page 3. Page 4. Page 5. Page 6. Page 7. Page 8. And lastly, page 9.
Move to approve the minutes of the December 16th, 2021 meeting.
I'd second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded on the motion of approval of the minutes from the December 16th, 2021 Riley County Commissioners meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Tentative agendas look, commissioners.
Good.
Any items for next week's press conference?
I do not.
Okay, thank you, Minnie. Just let me know.
Okay.
Next at 9 o'clock, we have Mr. Adams.
Okay.
Well, David, how you doing?
Good. How are you guys?
Good.
Clarence, you haven't had a chance to sit at your desk in a while.
Yeah.
I know how you like to find my notes.
Notes or nose? Because that can make
Notes.
okay. Taking a whole different
There's
definition.
a T in there.
Okay, okay. So, yeah.
So if you read the study book yet?
About the first 4 pages, that's where I bookmarked that. I took it with me when I left for Thanksgiving. Of course, I wasn't gonna read it in the car driving 12 hours down there and back, obviously, but
So it's well traveled.
It's
a
well
little
traveled,
journey.
it has. Yeah.
That's right.
I don't know how much traveling.
A long one.
Yeah, that's the way it's gonna be. But then again, I'm looking at my calendar for 21 and I'm like, I don't know if I'm really gonna travel anywhere for next year. I guess, I don't know. Have to wait and see on that one. I think I'm gonna go out to the policy conference in DC in February. And I'm just gonna leave it this year. So many complications to try to work through and it's cut awfully expensive. There was some talk about going down to Houston for the bowl game on the 4th, but everybody kind of fizzled out, I guess. Not that I don't necessarily mind there either. That'd be one of those, if that game was actually on Saturday, might actually work, but it's midweek and so much stuff to do, just so much stuff to do. Morning, Josh. How are you? Morning, how are you? Oh, we're doing good. Yeah. Wow, good. Yes. Yes. Ouch. Dang. I check it every twice a year. That's good. Yep. Happy Thanksgiving.
Cold enough for you Saturday morning?
It felt a little bit more colder yesterday morning, to be honest with you. I actually had to turn the remote start on and defrost the truck for the first time all year.
10 degrees, yeah. Look cold.
Went over to Dillon's and ran a few morning errands as I typically do on Sundays. And yeah, the wind had been blowing, it would have been bad.
Yesterday evening up in the pastures and the hills, boy, that wind was blowing. It was cool.
Yeah, it was yesterday afternoon, yeah. I went over to the gym in t-shirts and shorts and thought, ooh, it's a little cold.
This new cool front come through this evening.
Mhm.
And it's supposed to drop pretty good after sunsets.
It's like the extended forecast is still kind of warm,
Supposed to go up all during the week tonight.
lower 60s. Christmas maybe.
I think
It was pretty warm last year, if I remember right, too. Spent a good portion of the day outside.
yeah, I don't care for Christmas days, but it is what it is.
I'd actually like to do Christmas in South America sometime. Have a barbecue, maybe jump in the pool, just for something different, for a year.
At the age of my kids, even.
The problem's going to be actually getting me to South America. That's going to be the hardest part.
I'd be fine with going on vacation for Christmas rather than the present thing.
What year was it we played Boston College in the Aloha Bowl on Christmas? Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, Russell.
Okay, David.
Good morning, Commissioners. Morning. David Adams, CMS Ambulance Director with our monthly update for November. Operations, call for service, we ran 465 calls. This is the first time in the history of our department that we've exceeded 5,000 calls, and we're over 5,100 now. So unfortunately or fortunately, that 465 is becoming more of the norm now than it has been previously. We ran 19 calls in North County as well. We're averaging about 21 calls a month up there through this year, year to date through the end of November. Broken down call volume by stations. Station 1 continues to run the most as we expect at 163. Medic 21, which is located at 11 points, is 147. That's about that right differential that we've been seeing throughout the year. 31, which is located at Public Works, is 76. And then Station 4, which is at the airport, 56. And those are about typical for those stations. The rest of the calls were either event standbys, where we had multiple calls within one, multiple run numbers within one call, or supervisors writing reports for their crews as well. We are working on year-end projects. We just finished up evaluations on Friday. That's always a tall task for a big department like ours, with our full-time and our PRN and such. And Josh is finishing up inventory this week. So another big task when we have 4 stations, 3 satellite offices. There's a lot there to keep track of. So the MOU with Riley County Fire Department number 1 is signed and I believe in place. So we got that taken care of. John Ellerman, Rich Vargo, Josh, and myself visited Leavenworth County EMS headquarters last week. Met with their EMS director, and we appreciated his time. He gave us his undivided attention, which is hard because he's also the health department director. But we got a lot out of it. We gained some really good ideas. We saw some things not to do, as which was kind of the idea. What works, what doesn't work, what would you do different type of thing. So we appreciated that. We got a lot out of it. So we did that on Tuesday. On Wednesday, we conducted the RFP Consultation Meeting and walked through at EMS. And also they went over and they saw dispatch. Every company that was selected for the RFP was present. We had, I believe it was about 20 people from the different companies who were there. So it was very informative for everybody. They got to see what we're dealing with, kind of talk to some of our leaders. So it was informative, and we appreciated them coming up. Some came up from Wichita and Kansas City, and then obviously we had 2 local firms and such. So the new ambulance, we have an update, is slated for delivery in late spring or early summer. So it's in queue. They'll get started on it in January. So and then we received notice Friday mid-afternoon that the 2 Suburbans that were approved for CIP, that Chevy is not going to build those, and they told us to check back in May. So we're going to continue to look and see what's out there.
At least they gave you a date, or at least a time frame.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe.
That's a maybe, probably, yeah.
Yeah, so that was disappointing, but they said that the Chevy's not taking any new orders, and so it is what it is. So we'll look and see if there's some expeditions out there, some Ford expeditions that which are pretty comparable. Something like a Tahoe or an Explorer just aren't big enough for what we need. So I'd hate to purchase something and then we turn around in 2 years and say, well, it's really not meeting our needs. So we'll continue to work on that, see what we can come up with. Education side, credentialing and year-end continuing education paperwork has been the focus of that group. So credentialing is almost all done right now. They're doing their scenarios, and he's grading the protocol tests. So that is part of that in-house scenario training with our staff. That's what they're doing now, and that takes quite a bit of time, but it's very valuable training. And as I've said before, the credentialing is the gold standard for EMS these days. So, and then he's building the training program for 2022, and it'll be rolled out right around January 1st. So we'll get that put out there for our staff to know they can start planning on what trainings that they need to attend next year. So, and then community outreach, we participated in the Mayor's Holiday Parade. They had a lot of fun with that. Josh and I bought them some pizza and some sodas, and they decorated the ambulance for the parade, and they really enjoyed that. And they did multiple other events. over the, as a build up to Christmas. So any questions about any of that?
I don't have anything.
Okay, so our ops list is here for you. It's kind of the breakdown of calls per day. Pretty typical Monday is usually busy, just as I've said before, when people get sick over the weekend and, they just aren't feeling better. So they decide, it's time for them to get evaluated. And then Friday and Saturday are typically busy, and this was no exception. Just a breakdown by the hours. I really didn't see anything out of the ordinary there when looking at the number of calls and that percentage. So, and then, as I said, does break down of the calls by the different units. So, Medic 12, 13, Medic 2, and Medic 1 are all event standbys and such. So, or staffed up. Obviously, we had a couple of pretty big calls this month, so you'll see that number will be up. Will be next month will reflect some of those. When we staffed up trucks and ran some extra calls because of volume. Any questions about that? Okay. Do you have any questions about any of that?
Yep.
Okay. Rich, for my next, do you know where those notes are that, like I said, this was in my packet?
Right, yeah, it didn't get in the commission packet for some reason.
Okay.
I don't see it.
It was online.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not on mine here.
Oh,
Yeah.
Could be a minute track error.
Yeah.
Okay. I'd say I knew I'd put it in there, and then when Greg said that he saw it, so.
Yeah.
That made me feel better because I thought, oh, shoot.
some places and some not.
Yeah, I don't know why that would happen. Cindy'd have to look into it.
To go right into that or do you have to wait? Okay.
Go right into it.
Okay, so David Adams, EMS Director, to talk about continue the discussion of North County and EMS presence. Just to remind you of our last discussion, I presented some information on expanding EMS coverage in North Riley County. I was told to stand by for further discussion. A couple of weeks ago, I was tasked with putting this discussion on the agenda for this week. As a final decision may or may not impact the size and scope of the EMS headquarters station, which is now out for RFP. So as you weigh and discuss options, as I said, I was tasked to bring this forward. This alternative that I'm going to discuss, Chief Collins and I discussed this several years ago and had agreed that this was a possibility, at least to bring forward for discussion. He and I's discussion was a little bit different, but after Josh and I met, we then met with Chief Stuckey and his administrative team, and we looked at multiple options. The option that Chief Collins and I had was to have, whether it was 8-hour positions or 12-hour positions, that was an EMS rural fire person that would be working to maybe check fire equipment, fire apparatus and such up in North County. That was prior to Chief Stuckey coming in and then they reorganizing their departments. So a little bit of background. Since January 1st of 2020, North County first responders have been requested approximately 230 times with 98 calls in which a first responder was able to respond and assist. So that was 42% of the time a first responder was available when called. As a reminder, we don't call a first responder for every call that we go up north. If it's somebody who has a minor laceration or they haven't been feeling well for a couple of days, we may not page them for that. But that is something that was put into place with Chief Collins and Chief Stuckey and his staff have looked it over. So, but we don't call them for every time we go on a call up north. In doing some of that background and looking at it again, because we looked at it before, it was noted that the call volume in North Riley County is greatest from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m., which is also when we see the lowest availability of volunteer first responders. So the next proposal or alternative that I have for you is to create 2 full-time paramedic positions that would be based out of the Leonardville Fire Station. In this scenario, one person would be on duty at a time from 7A to 7P, working as an advanced life support first responder. Between the 2 positions, we would be able to serve the Northern Riley County 7 days a week. This time frame would have an EMS person available during the peak commuting hours, as well as when the lack of trained first responders is the greatest. Covering the weekends would also allow for consistency in coverage, while hopefully taking a little bit of the burden off of the volunteer first responders. In the case of illness or vacation of these employees, we would utilize other EMS personnel to cover this position. These personnel would utilize an equipped SUV as a mode of transportation. So there'd be 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, would be a paramedic, and they would have the equipment that necessary to respond in this capacity. So we looked down at a personnel cost, and these are not absolute, but these are pretty close. I have not been able to sit down with Elizabeth and HR, and if this is something you want to pursue, then we'll get that a breakdown. But I think I'm fairly close. We believe that to fill the positions would be a cost of $230,000 a year, which includes benefits and time to cover for illness and vacation and things like that. Equipment, an SUV at approximately $60,000. If we could get a replacement SUVs, and we could use one of the current ones until we got another one ordered. So we wouldn't have to wait till we get a third SUV. We could make it work currently. Sirens, lights, radios, graphics, but $25,000. Cardiac monitor, $37,841. CPR device, $15,000. Miscellaneous other EMS equipment, about $2,000. And then fuel, internet access, miscellaneous other costs would be determined. So, and then I had some points to consider. This position would provide a quicker response to bedside care that may not significantly decrease the time for which a person is transported to the hospital. We would still be waiting for an ambulance to come from Station 3 or from Manhattan. So we'd have somebody bedside quicker, but may not really lower that transport or that time before they're transported. Ideally, this position would be filled with paramedics, which is our highest level of care. The position may be challenging to fill due to a nationwide shortage of certified personnel. In Kansas, 37% of certified personnel are not currently working in EMS. I got that. The Kansas Board of EMS has been open in meetings talking about that. If we utilize the Leonardville Fire Station, Riley County Fire District number 1 may have to modify the plans for their new University Park Fire Station to add an additional bay to house a piece of apparatus from Leonardville that would be displaced. Chief Stuckey has also said they may change when they purchase equipment to, instead of moving one, they could change their equipment and get a different vehicle that could do more than one thing. So they could cut down on the number of apparatus that they have. There are multiple factors to consider, as I say, including the new vehicle, to change to a multi-purpose apparatus, but nothing's been finalized yet on that. So I understand that this is not the same as staffing a full-time crew and transporting ambulance in Northern Riley County, but it would enhance our capabilities over our current model that we have today. Stand by for questions.
4 years ago was a good idea.
Right.
As a temporary solution. Since we're looking at possible. I have my opinions. I'm going to get the word out in North County and see what the thoughts are. I have my thoughts, but I'll wait and see what others have.
At this time, I don't have a problem with this as an alternative. It's going to be a hard sell for me to put an actual ambulance up north. It just is. I'm already receiving correspondence from people down south who want the same thing. I worry that once we do one, we're gonna basically have to look at doing 2, 3, maybe even 4. I don't know. I don't know where that conversation will lead. I know during my trip back home, I stopped in and looked at their EMS facility. I spoke with their director and assistant director. Hardin County services double, almost 140 to 145,000 citizens. They've got a much nicer overall facility than we do. I don't know what our new plans are going to look like in terms of, being able to compare it at that point in time, but they're working with 2 other service stations. My point being here is this isn't just a problem that's just settled in North County, Riley County, Kansas. This is an issue throughout all of rural America at this point in time. But I mean, they have 2 stations servicing double the amount of citizens.
What's the distance?
The distance is about 1/3 of the total square mileage. It's kind of spread out in the center. So that's a complication that is different, agreeable.
That's complication.
But I have to look at whether or not that's a fiscal opportunity or not too. And I have to service the needs of 71,000 citizens, not just a demographical area within the county. And it's not just the facility itself. It's going to require how many new, I guess if you wanted to get technical, you could shift some personnel around, but
No, we would
really
be able to.
right.
If you're talking about a full-time 24-hour truck, it would be 6 full-time new employees, 3 paramedics and 3 EMTs. We could shift, we could change our operational model a little bit here. Because currently right now we have a paramedic and an EMT or an AEMT at every station. If I needed to, I could shift and we could put an advanced EMT and an EMT like at Station 2, where there's covered by other paramedics if they needed to. So we could make some adjustments operationally to try to make this work. Especially the full-time 24-hour truck. So, but it's staffing right now is a challenge for everybody, so, but we could change our model a little bit to help kind of make that work. But it would be, at the end of the day, it is 6 full-time new employees.
I've done a rough estimate of that. It's, not just the building aside, but, it's going to probably require a new ambulance too, because you're not going to be able to shift much like personnel that around and do the equation. Or if you do, you're taking it away from an area where there's much more response and much more density. That's also got to be figured into the equation, and that's a one-time expense. I got that, but we're literally spending probably 2/3 of $1 million in personnel costs.
Mhm.
We're talking about 19 to 40 calls on average per month. 19 this month. I'm just going with the low number there, but
Sure, we averaged 21.63 through November of this year.
so those are things that we have to look at in that equation overall. I get people want this, people expect this. There's some things that we need to do. I'm certainly willing to look at that. I'm willing to look at this as an alternative, but I've kind of thought that through to the point where I'm not comfortable with it overall.
It's not a business, it's a service.
But 71,000 citizens are paying for it. So it is just more than just a service. And if we service one demographic area, then we're going to be required to do that elsewhere. And I've had that conversation already.
But look at the map. Manhattan is on the southern end of the county.
Understand
And
that?
that's the problem. The other counties, the county seat's right in the middle, and it makes it easier to service the whole county from one spot. Ours isn't that way. The distance probably, and I haven't looked at it that direction, but basically going south, because the south, I assume, comes out of the downtown station probably.
Yes, yeah.
And that's probably about the same distance it is to Riley. Well, there's still another 25 miles of county north of Riley that needs service.
You want to talk about it in terms of square mileage? Okay, that's fine. But I also look at it in total in numbers. I mean, we're having less than basically 1 call per day. What are 4 to 6 personnel that are being on the county dime going to do during that time? And there's a lot of other questions that have to be discussed in that manner to get to that point. And at this point in time, I'm not overly comfortable with the full facility. I am willing to look at some alternatives such as this. I think that's a reasonable start. Hopefully,
It wouldn't be a start, that'd be all we get. It wouldn't be temporary, it'd be permanent.
is it better than what you have currently?
Yeah.
So it's at least a step in the right direction.
Well, that's what they said, that the moving the station shops was a half step, but it wasn't particularly.
But we're not leaving that as the only option at this point in time. We're still continuing to try to develop.
Well, I'm willing to look at this, yes, but I'm not deleting the possibility of the station up there.
When would be the most optimal time to put forth something like this? I know we are in the midst of putting together final proposals for another fire station up there, so we would need to act quickly on that. I don't know if that's the right spot to do this necessarily anyway, but it's a little outside of the population density I'm going to get to.
Russell Stuckey Fire District. The two considerations, like David mentioned, he was right on. The two options as far as to accommodate, we've kind of talked and we thought Leonardville was probably the most central, made the most sense. We have a 3-bay fire station there with some office type space, not really living quarters, as long as we're not talking about an overnight. The two options are, currently we have 3 trucks there, a pumper, a tanker, and a grass truck. We could convert 2 of those trucks, so get like one truck that's a pumper and a tanker. And so we could go down to 2 trucks, and then that would allow space for EMS to be in there. Or we could add a bay to the University Park Station, which is currently right now just planned for 2 bays, and we could bump it up to 3 and move one of those trucks over there. It's kind of 6, 1/2 dozen the other. But that's the 2 options. And they're probably similarly priced options, quite frankly.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that answers your
No,
question.
it does. I think you got to put that in a spot where it makes the most logistical sense.
Mhm.
I've said from day one, we built the fire station up there, we should have built that with these things in mind, but I guess at that point in time it was being developed, it wasn't service that we were in charge of, I guess, at that particular point in time. So, that is what it is. So I wanted to also make sure Commissioner Folke had a chance to chime in if she's still with us.
Yes, I'm still here.
Okay.
A lot of noise going on here.
I didn't forget about you there, and I know this is a conversation I'm sure you hear a lot about, much like myself, so.
Yeah, well, I think we do need to add something, and I like the alternatives of putting it in with the fire station, whether it be in Leonardville or University Park. We need to do something in the North County, so that seems like it's a good alternative.
I don't see 120. Okay, 1, 2. No, this is not. Okay.
That's about it at this point. I mean, I like like I said, we need to do something up in the North County, and I think that, doing it at the fire station is probably a good plan at this point.
127 furniture.
Furniture, yeah, so 10.
127 or 27?
So is that the direction maybe we should be thinking about at this point in time? And if so, I guess my suggestion would be to come back with some
final numbers.
some final numbers and logistics to see if that's something we need to push forward with. I'd like to see that done early in 2022, if anything.
Okay, and I don't have this in my budget, so we'll
Right.
have to, okay, just make sure you understand that.
Yeah, that's quite a large number at this point in time. I understand that. And this would be the hiring of, once again, some new positions, but I think in the grander scope of things, we can justify it. And I think when you start developing next year's budget, you can work bits and pieces of that around and facilitate a little bit better. If need be, in terms of a vehicle, if we can't get something new or can't get it replaced right away, maybe we look at something on the auction.
Okay, yep, I'll start looking to see what we can come up with.
And I think all the other equipment, I would assume, could come to us in a reasonable amount of time.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so. I haven't, those are the numbers that they gave me for this, but I have not obviously placed an order or anything, so I'd have to, but I would think so. It's nothing outlandish here, so.
In terms of fire at this point, time to accommodate that. We will obviously aren't gonna have a new station right away, so temporarily, what would be the solution for you there?
We could analyze a couple different things. You know, it might be a deal where we squeeze 2 trucks into one bay for a while, or just weigh those options. We just have to work with EMS and the stations up there and figure out what, there'd be 2 or 3 different options, but.
Okay. Well, having some personnel for this service is probably long overdue, so something we need to think about at least early in the first quarter of 2022 for sure.
Okay.
Go ahead, Rich.
I just want to be sure there's a consensus of the board, and I hope Catherine's still on to go that direction with staff. I know you say that you want to do that, but I haven't heard Greg say that he wants to pursue
said I
that.
want to look into it more. So,
That's why I want to be sure. And Catherine, I don't know if you want to pursue that. I mean, like all items, we need a 2-to-1 vote. We don't have to have a unanimous consensus to go that way, but we just need clear direction.
Well, I'd like to see the final logistics and numbers.
Okay.
And that gives us some time, gives you some time to talk to your base up north, gives us some time to talk to ours as well. It doesn't have to be today, but.
So,
Yeah, I think take time to talk about it and think about it with his constituents. So.
So a question I have is, does the commission have any preference on whether it's buying it wouldn't be a new truck, but a newer truck and leave the station footprints the same or as currently proposed? Or would you prefer to build a bigger station and leave trucks as they are? Does the commission have any preference?
I don't, but I'd like to see what both of those might look at as a plan A or plan B at this point in time. That,
you plan to get the new stations out to bid soon? I mean, don't mean tomorrow. I mean.
Yeah, this late this winter, yeah. Mhm.
I think
Maybe
it's-
early spring.
Yeah. For us, we've got a certain amount of the USDA loan to cover that, and then we've got to figure out how to cover whatever that difference is going to be in price at this point in time, so.
Well, and part of the conversation I've had with Tammy is get the EMS building figured out and get a budget sort of set with it, and then we would know how much ARPA funds was left.
Right.
And whether those funds could be used for the fire station versus going into further into debt. And so that, honestly, we could go to bid tomorrow, probably, but we're kind of waiting on that.
Yeah.
As far as the funding source is what we're actually waiting on. So the EMS station, we're kind of waiting on the EMS station to see where those funds fall and then know what we have to do financing wise.
Go ahead, Rich.
And just whenever we get to the point where the entire board is comfortable with getting those numbers, we need to have that additional cost, what it's going to cost your department, because those of us like myself that live in the county will be funding the rural fire part of it as well, plus the additional however many mills it is on that site. And so I understand I've been in this business 30 years, everyone wants service, but about tax payment time, these guys also get a lot of concerns about the cost of their taxes as well. And it does cost to provide more service, and we need to know that overall cost, not just a portion of it.
Correct. Particularly since we'll be getting into budget season, early March there, we'll be starting to set those early baselines, so it'll be important to obviously have that. I'm sure we'll have that before then, so I'm not going to worry about it too much, but that's a conversation we can get back to here early in 2022. Okay. Okay. So
Yes,
we're all-
I'm comfortable with that.
Say that one more time, I'm sorry.
I'm comfortable with that, to
Okay.
look at it and take a little time to make sure we do it correctly.
Would agree. Okay,
Okay,
thank you. Thank you, everybody. And well, right on cue, 9:30. One item on our press conference this morning. Thank you, sir.
Hold on a second.
Okay, John? One item on the press conference this morning. On your phone. We'll have some time here in a minute.
Yeah, this is a short time. We got a break.
Good morning, John Ellerman, Public Works Director. Just reminding everybody that the transfer station will be closed at noon on December 24th and all day December 25th, as well as all day January 1st. So, thank you.
Thanks, John. Okay, commissioners, next we have bid opening at 9:50.
Everything was good out there from Wednesday's storm.
Still picking up trees.
Okay. You and everybody else, so I guess that's normal. Okay.
Trees and signs seem to have gotten a lot of the wind.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, we were sitting here during the storm, looking out the office windows, it was hitting and just watching the stop signs just.
I saw that on the way coming home, even before the storm officially hit on Wednesday. I was like, oh, it's not gonna be good afternoon.
We were driving up to Topeka yesterday, and we saw a couple billboards, and half of them was like, on 70.
That'll take longer to fix than anything.
Yeah, there'll be some discussion about reducing rental.
Yeah, right.
Whoever knows that's happening.
So I'm still, and maybe Clancy's more clear than me, I'm still baffled on exactly where we are on how we want staff to proceed. Because you want to proceed, he doesn't want to proceed until he gauges the temperature of this county.
I gotta ask somebody else. It's either one way or the other. So I can't answer that question. Sorry.
That's what I was asking for.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got the impression it was okay with going forward with that and still talking. Maybe I'm wrong.
No.
Okay, I must have missed it. I have no doubt it was. I was putting together paperwork. So I'm not a good witness for you. Not a good witness for either side. It's a good discussion.
It's gonna continue. That's for sure. Bounce back and forth on this one myself through the last couple of years, but I don't know. It's where I'm at. It's where I'm at, I guess.
Point in time, you just have to settle somewhere.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Well, we have non-competitive, competitive bid process.
Not intentionally.
One and one on. Okay.
That's only one bidder.
What do you do?
Perez. Yeah. Clear.
It's usually the normal group that does that, so yeah, nothing new there.
Yeah, you missed they just get Chevy back out on us. Oh, no, it's suburban.
You're talking about all these medical.
Actually, one that we have working already. It's like you're still in the price is $5,000. No, lucky, like say, lucky you find it, lucky you got one bid.
Almost anything.
You want to just wait till summer next year or 23?
I heard some of the companies too, with just individuals buying new vehicles, they buy like a new Chevy or something, they're giving you an IOU and say, hey, you're getting microchip, and then they get money back and get them.
That those trucks are out, that you don't even see.
Well, I'm curious if we're gonna open it says cannot. That's what I'm afraid of. That's what I'm afraid of.
It could happen.
It's not.
Probably getting warm bodies too in the same place. I told Rich, we went to the same garage this morning separately, dropped off vehicles to be serviced. They're down to one tech. to do all the work.
We're not having any luck.
And I guess this was, if I understood the guy, right, he said supervisor, somebody came by on Friday and asked, what, you haven't quit yet?
No, not yet. You need to come work for us, you won't work as hard.
Well, I know that's not true. So there's one tech and one trainee. I wanted to say, well, don't have them work on my vehicle, you start bringing in the administrative staff. Just tell me you can't work on it. The driver from the other place this morning said you went, she brought you out.
Oh, you got a ride too?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and my daughter's vehicle to get tires rotated and oil changed.
They tell you they're down to one tech on that side of things?
No.
Yeah, one tech and one trainee. And they won't take people just walking in, because while I was sitting there, a guy came in and said, hey, I'd like to oil change. He said, do I need an appointment? He said, absolutely. Said, you're not getting in without an appointment.
I'm gonna have to ask those guys about that. I know those guys up front pretty well. Oh, really?
It was Jerry. And you may bring it in, do you bring it into the, on the west side? Or the
East side on the GMC side.
yeah, I usually bring it in. I bring it in on the west side. So maybe that's not the situation on this side.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I don't think it is.
No, I know they got more bays. It's a different process. On the express side, yeah. He said one tech, one training.
Huh.
The guy there, he's from Louisiana. I asked him, what do you think about Kansas food? Getting used to it.
Not quite as much spice.
No, not quite as much fresh. I mean, better fresh seafood than used to.
Yeah, you're sure.
Are we talking food again?
Yeah, I mean, that's important. That's the food. A transplant from Louisiana, that's working at a shop. I've been teasing about Kansas food and culture and stuff. I told
How it's all turf and no surf.
Yeah, I told growing up with seafood, fish sticks.
Yeah. And for me, during my college years, it usually meant burnt fish sticks because I forgot to take them out.
About those strong fire people. These guys, on that side of the business, the restaurant, these guys, tech. Trade. I keep trying to just schedule an orchard. He said, you have to have an appointment. He said, that's.
Yeah, yeah. Got to that point where I gotta put a distance of time in between things, or, it just didn't happen anymore. So I can't quite put my finger on a lot of it. I would think there'd be some movement at this particular point in time, but even during the holiday season, most of the retail places and, more brick and mortar box stores, whether they're local or chain or national, just couldn't find anything or anybody.
Baffles me.
At some level, there'd be some segment of the workforce and see this is a great opportunity.
Yeah. There is. Coming from the south. Far south.
Yeah. Start that whole conversation about jobs being stolen. And that's what we're saying, they're not being stolen. I can't get anybody else.
Those employers are saying, thank God. We have, and that includes the local ones that I talked to.
Yeah, money's here.
We're not starting until 9:50.
You have a few moments after meeting to chat. Okay.
Yep. Is it your office or my office or?
Oh, my office is fine.
Okay. Run off.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I can only run to my office, so I'm here right now.
Understandable.
One daughter, can you get my vehicle and another daughter, can you check on the new tires for me?
Can or can?
Huh?
Can?
Yeah,
Okay.
can I do that for him? Can I do this for him?
Well, at least you know you're still important.
Yes, when needed.
It's better than the alternative.
There'll be some good bowl games coming up.
Yeah, there's two today, one this morning, and
I
then
thought there were lower level bowls, but there were some good bowl games this week.
they had some good matchups. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah,
Good
they
matchups.
really did. A couple of those games got in the upper 40s, and it was at Western Kentucky and Northern Illinois ended on a controversial play.
Didn't see that one.
Yeah, guy caught the balls, stayed in bounds, but they called him out or something. It was the last play or something, and they had an injury timeout or something, but they had no timeout, so it counted for a 10-second runoff. And the runoff at that play got them to 0. They should have had one more extra play, and they didn't. And anyway, it's always something. So.
I hate it when it ends like that.
All right.
That's Rick. Uh-huh. Mhm.
Okay.
Okay, and yeah, just so you know, that time's at 10:10, but maybe she is trying early. Yep, uh-huh. Thank you. Bye-bye.
I told her that might happen. Yeah.
Oh, she's gonna have to conference call and gotcha. Yeah.
Our executive.
Yeah, it has to go in the lobby desk and we transferred from there to here. So I make sure the lady at the desk knows. And I explained it to Catherine in case somebody else is picking up that phone. If the lady normally at the front desk is gone for a minute, somebody else gets it, she will understand what extension they need.
What happened to our little teleconference machine that we had? Or does that work the same? It's just a speaker.
Same, yeah, it's just a speaker, that's all it is. Yeah, it's not a special phone number or anything.
It does look very Star Trekky though. So it's kind
Yeah,
of
no,
cool.
it really looked cool,
Yeah.
high tech.
Very, very high tech.
Been better if it hovered in the center of the room.
Yeah.
It doesn't. I just assumed we didn't use that function.
Give off like a lightsaber type of.
Yeah, it looks like it could, it's that shape.
With the sound.
That's a line.
Yeah.
Anytime somebody gets ready to talk, it's that.
So you know they're
there.
really thin fishing line, like, at acting days, you'd see, if you camera the light caught right, you'd see the line.
Yeah.
Fishing line, the monofilament folded up.
I was like that about the first Superman movie that was made with Christopher Reeve.
Yeah.
They had to at the end of it, never forgotten, they had to reshoot all the flying scenes because you could see the wires holding him up.
Oh.
Kind of a basic mistake you would think they might watch for when they were reviewing the film.
So you can't really fly?
No, he can't. I know, I disappoint Rich.
It's like, next thing I know, you'll tell me there's not a Santa Claus.
All right, well, yeah, just leave it, just pick up the little stuff and go on. Yeah, that'd be all right. Yep, that'll be fine. All right. Bye.
Okay, it is 9:50, so we have a bid opening this morning for a 2 tandem axle dump trucks. So, looks like according to my bid sheet here, we have a single bid for this opportunity, so we'll go ahead and see what we got. It's 8. quite the opening of gifts I was kind of hoping for Christmas this morning, but oh well.
I'm
here.
No, it won't be. And it'll be way more money than I probably want to spend too.
My next Christmas, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully, but probably not there yet.
Oh,
Somebody has to be a Grinch this morning, don't they? See, I'm not the only one without Christmas spirit. Okay, so this is what I got. A quantity of 2. The unit price for each one of them separately is showing, let's see here. On our bid sheet here doesn't show the actual truck. I guess that's the empty space there.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, I'm gonna enter mine
So
as
there's
single price.
There's 3
and then-
prices.
Yeah, there's
Okay.
one single price and then the total amount. So the single for each truck itself is $183,942 even. So total amount for both of them would be $367,884 even. Included in this bid is is that a 12-foot hinky? Okay, plow that would be installed on each one of them. Unit price for each one of those is $17,546. And then for a total for both of those would be $35,092. Also coming in along with the bid would be a salt spreader. It's from Henderson with a pre-wet system. All those things would be installed on each one of them. $32,533 even for each. Total cost for both would be $65,066. Total bid price then for everything included would be $468,042 even. Not to write for one single bid. There you go.
this proposal is from Rush Truck Center, Kansas City, Missouri. For the tandem axle dump truck, the unit price, $183,942. The 12-foot plow installed, $17,546. Salt spreader installed, each $32,533. Total bid for all 2 tow trucks was $468,042.
Thank you.
Rush Center or
Summit truck.
Summit.
That's it. On that one, she said Rush.
Yep, Summit Truck Group, Kansas City, Missouri.
That's on the outside, it says Summit. On the actual bid, it says Rush.
Maybe that doesn't rush all the stuff and get it done quickly. That should be different than everything else that's been going on lately.
It does say Rush Truck Center on here. In the handwritten part, well, on actually.
Yeah,
the
that's what I'm
green
at.
sheet, it
Yeah,
says
the green sheet is
special, so maybe they're changing their name. Guess you guys, that's what you get paid to find out for us. And then presented by us as Summit Truck Group, so good luck.
Maybe Rush is the company and the truck group is a, I don't know. I'm out of ideas this morning. Yeah.
There you go. That's a Christmas present.
If Santa delivers all that by sled, I'll be impressed. I'll be real impressed.
Today's day and age.
I was wondering if there was a delivery date on it. I didn't think so, but
I'm sure you want to know.
yeah.
Does it have a 3 or?
Delivery date, approximately 360 to 380 days.
Christmas 2023.
Good question.
Hence, that's why they didn't put the delivery date on there. Yeah, we do need a motion.
Move that the bids be given to the staff for their review and recommendation.
I would second that.
Been moved and seconded on a motion to send the single bid from whichever company they actually are at this point in time, back to staff for further analysis and recommendation. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Commissioners, you have a break. Now until 10:10, and then you have Mr. Holmes' executive session. Look, appreciate it. Thank you. Clancy, you want the whole time?
Yes, please.
So I will be calling in. When do you want me to call in on this, guys?
181.
Probably the sooner the better, just in case there's complications. That would be my guess. That would be my thought. We can
Okay,
always
yeah, Clancy
keep
gave
it on
me
hold.
a call in.
Yeah. We can either keep you open or keep you on hold on this phone here.
Okay, I will do that in a couple of minutes, okay?
Okay. We'll hear from you here shortly.
Okay, thanks.
Rick, who was the guy in the purple jacket? I should know him.
Jay Holmes.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought. Okay. I dealt with his dad a lot more than him, you know. Going through the county for years.
Yeah.
That's me, I'm calling just to make you go back. No.
This is Rich. Okay, I'll put you on speaker, so hold on.
Okay.
You there?
Yeah.
Okay, just hold on till we get started then.
Okay, great, thanks.
You bet. That's pretty good.
Is she gonna have to come off of Zoom?
She's
Just
on.
after she can hear you.
Oh, I'm just saying in terms of the Zoom call part of it.
Yeah, the Zoom, she'll need to go off that.
Okay.
And I don't know if IT needs to be involved in that or not. I don't know if it's enough for her to mute.
I don't either.
all she's got to do is disconnect on her end from Zoom to get off of it.
We'll need to have her do that, have her sign it, come back on.
Right, yeah, right.
That makes sense.
Or I mean, she can just continue the meeting on phone too, either way.
Did you get that, Catherine?
I thought when I was on there, I had to actually log out of Zoom.
I'm sorry.
Just, I think what needs to happen is when we go into executive session, you'll want to sign out of Zoom, so we just have you on the phone.
Okay,
Then you can go back to the link once we're done with the executive session.
okay, that's good.
Okay.
I've got you on my regular phone, not on the county phone, so that's fine. That works. I've got two phones and a computer going here.
Know the feeling.
As long as you're off Zoom, we're good.
I dropped my mouse, so it doesn't work, which is weird. Yeah, I
Like
guess
check
I'm
the
gonna have to-
battery on that.
Yeah, the batteries fell out. I put them back in, but didn't quite, it's not working, so I'll get some more batteries
That's what
later.
usually happens on these. They just come
Oh, yeah.
completely together and
Sure.
are forced to put the guts of it back together
Yeah.
again.
And the batteries don't shoot one
No, they
foot
don't.
away. It's like 6 feet under
Yeah.
a heavy piece of furniture.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty noisy around here, so I'm trying to listen as best I can here, so.
We heard some folks stomping around.
Oh, yeah, we got, the movers are here bringing stuff in, and then upstairs, the contractors are painting and they are putting in tile, just all sorts of stuff going on.
Not open a saw sharpening shop or something.
Yeah, the saw is upstairs, but you can hear it, so. That's pretty cold here too.
It's pretty cold here yesterday morning. It was nippy. I've been used to that yet. And it goes from 70 to 9 in a couple of days. I mean, even being a Kansas, that's kind of a shift.
Well, here it's damp, we had like rain the past couple days, and when we were traveling, we had rain, but
What is that? That R word that you just used?
the what? Rain, yes, rain.
I have no idea what that is. Yeah. I don't remember that back in the day, maybe. My memory's vague.
Last year was pretty kind of rainy, I
Yeah.
think is what you call it. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a time, yeah.
We were driving too, so.
It's that stuff that's kind of wet,
Kind of thought you would
kind
be.
of falls from the sky.
It's not cold.
Right.
I set it up
Not
before
frozen.
we even,
Gotcha.
I even left for the morning.
Good instinct.
Oh, you know what?
Well, that was a saw. I heard that. That just sounded like a tile saw, which probably explains tile.
In this place.
He's. Oh, up there then. First bedroom on the left.
Speaking of construction, sounds like they got it outside, huh?
They have to repair all the stuff that broke during the windstorms.
Yeah. When do the Cats play again?
Tuesday.
Do they play?
Northwest,
Something or another.
Northwest. Children of the corn or something.
Even better than what I thought you might come up with.
Yeah, usually they said the Little Sisters of the Poor.
State's bowl game's gonna be on past my bedtime.
Montana State, maybe? Can't
McNeese,
really tell by the.
McNeese
Oh,
State.
okay. And then we got Morgan
Whatever
State
that
after
is.
that.
Gotcha.
All at home taking it.
New Year's Day.
Mhm.
That-
Conference looks tough. It's amazing how Iowa State can go from 2 wins to top 10 in a year.
Yeah, and everybody's saying they weren't gonna be anything this year, now they're rated.
They're undefeated.
Baylor, KU, Ohio State, Texas.
Texas is in there. Texas Tech's in the top 25. So
Tech up in
Yeah,
25.
yeah. Oklahoma's been faring a little bit better. Oklahoma State, I don't know. Man, TCU is kind of TCU, but it's not going to be easy. Our non-conference schedule is it's pretty weak to start with, but we didn't win the.
Well, we had, some- I mean,
Yeah, we didn't win the
Better
games that
than
we
the
should have
last two.
won to strengthen our strength of schedule, so. I think the NIT might be the ceiling, and we might need to just take that this year.
I don't think fans are gonna take that.
The fans already really are, I was even talking to a kid at the gym yesterday, and it's like, oh, I forgot that we were playing yesterday, I thought we'd already played, it's like, I think we're playing today, the pregame's on, it's like, I don't really follow basketball, so I don't know. It's like, ouch. Ouch. Okay, it is 10:10, so looks like it's your time, Clancy. Did you have anything to start?
Just the executive session.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and move the county commission, including Chairman Ford, Commissioner McKinley, and Commissioner Foki, recess into executive session on for the purpose of consultation with Clancy Holman, attorney for the commission on a matter which is deemed privileged in the attorney-client relationship, an exception to the Kansas Open Meetings Act. The open meeting to resume in the county commission chamber at 10:30 a.m.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded on the motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Hi. X out.
events.
Have fun.
Okay.
Mhm.
All righty, so then we're at 10:30, so I'll go ahead and move that the Board of County Commissioners come out of executive session.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded on the motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
It is your time now, Vivian, but you might wait just a second and give Catherine enough time to get back on Zoom. She's on.
We have another motion.
Oh,
We
yes.
didn't do anything,
We did. Well,
Whatever the-
we did. Yeah, we did.
whatever that.
So I'll go ahead and move the record reflect action shall be taken consistent with consensus reached in executive session.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Jumped ahead of myself there. I apologize for that. Thank you. We might give Catherine just a second to try to get back on Zoom. Okay.
Oh, is law board here or no city?
No, it's at city. Yeah.
Just making sure. Yep.
Won't be surprised if we may have a special session or two. We may not use the facility, but that's down the road.
You guys have kind of a lot on your agenda.
Yeah, that's one way of putting it. Morning, Stan. How are you?
John, I'm fine. How are
We're
you?
doing good. We're doing good.
So wait, Christmas is gonna be over.
Yeah, then New Year's, and then we get to do it all over again.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing her on there just yet, so.
Vivian's in two places at once.
I know.
Yeah. That's what you call multitasking.
Yeah.
That's right. I'd be scared to do that myself, and I think the world should be scared if I did that. They have to. I'll give her a minute or two, just to be nice.
Sure. No, it's fine. Oh.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm gonna let you get started, and if she has some questions, she can ask at the end there. Sound
Okay.
good? Okay.
Sure, I'll be really brief.
Okay.
So this is the start of my 4th week. I've made it through the first couple weeks of working here and I've really enjoyed my time. Everybody's been really helpful and welcoming, so thank you all for that. Just kind of a quick communications update. The coronavirus updates continue to be the most popular and most consumed information shared on the county website and social media platforms, which is to be expected. That's been the case for quite some time. So we'll continue the weekly updates from the health department. And it's my intention to send more frequent news releases about other topics as well as they come up. And I also hope to increase engagement on social media. I've started posting to Twitter and Instagram in addition to Facebook. So it'll take some time to build an audience, but most people across the globe have social media platforms now. So it's a good place to get messages out. During the storms last Wednesday, I shared information from Riley County and other agencies to try and keep the public informed and up to date. And then the social media following for the county's main Facebook page and Twitter account are in the attachments, just to give you an idea of who the audience is and what level we're at right now. Then last week, we sent a news release and created some social media campaigns for the Protective Home Program through the Department of Corrections. Commissioner Foki and Sarah Darnell also talked about the program on K-Man. And we were hoping to increase the number of households participating in the program from 16 to about 20 to 25 to be fully staffed or fully available. So far, unfortunately, we don't have any additional registrations to report. The next classes will be taking place at the end of January. So we'll continue sharing that message and try to get a few more households signed up.
Probably not the best time of the year for that, maybe.
No,
Yeah.
so we'll do what we can. Thankfully, they do have 16 households that are participating, so they do have places to shelter children in the short term, but they're just trying to build up the program. And then in terms of the website, Corey and I will be meeting with Civic Plus in early February to discuss the final steps for the refresh, just kind of updating the look and the colors and changing the navigation a little bit. Alice Massimi and Kevin Hauser did most of the work on the project and want to acknowledge all of their efforts. They got us to the finish line and we just have a few more steps to take to cross it. We don't have a rollout date yet, but I'll keep you updated as the project moves forward. And we'll still have the ability to make changes like we do now. And I plan to use the analytics for the site to kind of inform how we organize things and what needs to be on the homepage. That I think is our best communication tool right now. The Archive Social account that you guys approved recently, I'm working to connect all of the accounts and had a couple stumbling blocks, but working to get through those. And then in the new year, if you're interested, I'd like to offer to take updated headshots of all the commissioners and staff, so we can just schedule time to do that when you're available.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea on my part.
It's nice to have, and it's easy
You can
to.
Photoshop them for us, correct?
Oh, yes, we can.
Okay, put hair back on.
Yeah.
And everything.
Yeah.
Can we use someone else's picture?
Replace college logos with other college logos and colors.
So you have a variety,
Yeah.
Absolutely. So that's it. Do you have any questions for me or any concerns so far? Good. I was hoping not. I'm still pretty new, but thank you again. I hope you guys have a happy holiday.
You too.
See you next month.
You get over the
Thank you.
respiratory issues.
It's a struggle.
It's dry. That's what it is.
But thank you all. Nice to
Thank
see you.
you. Yes, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Next, commissioners, you have Robin Cole at 10:45. Plans to get approximately 8 minutes to exit the.
I'd like to leave as she's coming.
Which is usually what he does.
Yeah, there's a trick. She never should have told me to bother.
And just a point of clarification, I'm glad Catherine's back on because she was off for a while. And you'll note it in the minutes. Catherine was not here when you guys voted those last two motions, so it's 2-0.
Right.
And it's designated that she's not there, so I just want everyone to be clear, and I've since designated she came back on at 10:35, so
That's fine.
she actually didn't vote. I just wanted everyone to be on the same page rather than having to readdress it and remember Monday what went on.
Thursday.
Thursday, correct.
I'm sorry, what did you say? I was trying to get my battery pack.
You'll note in the minutes, I noted that when I came in, the commissioners voted on the last two motions to go out of executive session and that action shall be taken consistent with what was consensus in the executive session. You did not vote on either one of those because you were not on the phone or on there. And so that's why it says 2-0 and that you left the meeting then. And we have then put that you've come back on the meeting at 10:35 when you got back on Zoom. But you didn't officially vote, so we can't put it on there.
Okay, that's fine.
I just wanted it to be clear rather than everyone trying to remember what happened on Thursday.
Which I won't
Okay.
remember what happened on Thursday. I can just about guarantee you. So good to know.
Okay, that's fine. I've got to find an outlet that works to plug this in right now. So if I go off, you'll know why.
Wait to leave until the next person shows up.
No, that don't work because it's only you that does that.
I want some help.
No. You have to take full responsibility for your actions once in a while, Clancy.
All right, be like
There's always that question, who's responsible for what?
Rich.
Hey, hold on. I wasn't on that conversation.
I'm just answering a question.
Hold on.
Was he trying to sneak something out on us
Oh, he
here?
did on me, yeah. It should have been John. He was out of the football building, out of the room.
That would have been more fair.
When have you ever been fair?
Also, good point.
Either the boys gonna make it back.
No?
Guys, you don't go down there for the bowl game with one of them being.
That's what I asked him if he's going down there.
Well, very quickly, and Oldest is not going to be down there, and because I think both of them are going to be moving to Las Vegas.
Oh, that's right. We had that conversation.
I knew that.
He won't supply me with Super Bowl tickets to sign off on it.
I haven't been offered any tickets.
That's not the way
That's
this
besides
works.
the point.
He
doesn't
conveniently
care how
waited
you
until
uptake it.
after an evaluation to bring this up too, see? So Super Bowl's there in 2024. We've got plenty of time to work on the details of that.
It's a reasonable request.
Well, Green Bay barely pulled it out yesterday.
And Harrison, how the Chiefs jumped up to the top, huh?
Yeah, Green Bay helped that. No, not Green Bay. Which game was it?
Tampa Bay lost, the Saints,
Oh, did they?
didn't they?
Yeah, Tampa Bay.
Basically, everybody that was tied with the Chiefs in both divisions lost yesterday,
Yeah.
so. Of course, they've got to switch up the schedule, so they got an extra Monday night game tonight and then a game tomorrow. The COVID. It's against what the protocols originally were. It was either you have enough people to play or you forfeit, but everything's always a change.
Oh, that's what,
Yeah.
I heard, I couldn't figure out what, I heard that discussion.
I gave
I
one,
didn't hear the start of
yeah, I
it.
gave the Browns and I can't remember the other team a chance to get everybody past that quarantine period or whatever.
That's.
Not everybody's
They said
necessarily
that
sick
Mayfield
from
said
it,
they
but
weren't
close
getting-
contact.
Mayfield was playing, they weren't.
Yeah.
giving them for- I didn't never know.
When does he not ever
I
complain
just
about
heard-
something?
I heard part of it, but not enough to
Yeah.
figure out what they were talking about.
Seattle had some concerns. Cleveland was the other team that had some concerns. They moved some stuff around, so. So some,
The NBA's been postponed, but it's easy, we've got, they 88 games.
yeah,
Easy to
well,
rearrange one or two when you're down to the
yeah,
last
it's
couple
harder
weeks of
to,
the season.
yeah.
Everybody's already had the bye.
I scheduled that this year to where there was a little bit more flexibility in the schedule, because usually I get like 1, maybe 2 days off on travel during the week, and they tighten all that up to give some flexibility in there, so they could reschedule those games at the end, but I guess if you're a team that's kind of on the bubble there, you don't get the opportunity, maybe you complain about it then or something, I don't know. Part of the strange new world we live in.
Definitely strange.
There's that speaker issue again.
It is.
It's telling us it's time to start all over.
Comes by, yeah, I guess they are upgrading, aren't they?
I'm hoping they get rid of all this corded stuff in here and free up some stuff. We'll see. Let's see.
Morning, Robin.
Good morning.
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 I'll leave as soon as you get up there.
I was wondering how long you were gonna stay. Oh, man.
Tough crowd, man.
It is a tough crowd.
Even on the holiday season. Oh, yeah.
You think you'd have a little Christmas spirit, but no.
I'm just getting coffee.
Okay, Quincy.
Watching close. Watching close. That may be his excuse on camera, but we all know better.
Yeah.
He can sprint faster than you think.
Sure hope I left my wallet at the office.
Well, if not, somebody's enjoying some Christmas spirit this
Yeah.
morning.
Spread the Christmas cheer.
Ho, ho, ho.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, who knows, calls. It's Friday, Saturday. Somebody's spreading the cheer with.
Nice.
Oh, really?
Were they?
But they caught, I mean, that's good, they caught it.
Won't take the fall on that.
No.
So we canceled, they just canceled that card.
People don't realize how
it's terrifying.
like I need to get a new debit card, but I don't want to get a new debit card because they change all the numbers and I gotta go through and figure out which accounts it's tied to and then
It's such
such a pain. Like if they could just give me a new card with the same information, the same
work done.
codes and all that, that would be fine, but it don't work that way. So I gotta use it until I can't use it.
That's when that auto bill setup isn't so beneficial, then you gotta remember.
Well, it would be if you could just keep everything. They would allow you to keep everything. It'd be fine.
Yeah,
That's what, this one, our
although you have the
Thank God,
kind
fine.
where your car won't start unless you.
We're both on the same
With you.
credit card.
I
We have
guess
two
the
separate
difference about that
numbers.
is that
That's the way
your
we
car
are.
starts, you
Which,
know that you
that
have
man, they
keys.
just canceled something like that.
Well,
Some,
they're within range.
Still have
of
the
you.
other.
That's
That's
And we
there.
also, because we got caught in
And
that
it's
several years
usually
ago.
falling down somewhere.
And we had the same number that said,
yeah,
At least that's what I'm-
so we didn't have a credit card
Twice
for
and it's
3 or 4
falling in the exact
days.
same
So we
place.
had, we have a backup.
And it's
So you
used
just want that line.
Gonna have to interrupt both conversations. We're at
Searched all
10:45.
the pockets, emptied everything. Then I went back to that spot.
So, good morning.
Good morning.
Good to see you all.
You too.
And hello, Commissioner Foki. It looks like you are zooming in.
Yes, I am. I'm in Virginia with my daughter. She's moving. The movers are here and it's mass pandemonium, so. it's-
Very good, very good. Well,
Better
it's
way
good
to
to
have a
see you
Zoom
too.
meeting.
So it's been a busy time for us at Pawnee, and thank you, Stan, for being here. Stan, of course, is one of our board members. He represents adults who have severe and persistent mental illnesses, and we're very grateful to him for providing that service for us on our governing board. So we, of course, have just concluded big 65th anniversary celebration for Pawnee Mental Health. Pawnee Mental Health started here as the Riley County Mental Health Center in November of 1956. And so we've had a lot of events this last fall celebrating that. It culminated in an event on November 4th at the Midwest Dream Car Collection, where we had dinner and a live auction. Our goal was to raise $65,000 for each year that we've been in existence. We didn't raise 65, but we did raise $45,000 that evening. And so we were really delighted with that, especially since it was our very first attempt at an auction. So we were very pleased with that. We also recognize Survivor of Suicide Loss Day. Survivor of Suicide Loss Day is an event that is always held the Saturday before the American Thanksgiving. And that is out of recognition that the holidays in particular can be very difficult for families who have experienced a suicide loss. And a survivor of suicide loss is somebody who has lost a person close to them to suicide. And so we've been doing this event for, I'm not sure how many years now, for as long as I can remember. And it's an event that is sponsored nationally by the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. And so each year they produce videos of testimonials of different people who have survived suicide loss. And those videos then are part of what the recognition is. They really, I think, in many ways normalize for people what their experiences are. And they also demonstrate that everybody who has experienced a suicide loss has a different kind of a reaction. And a lot of times it's based on just where they are, in their own lives. What the situation was, what the circumstances were of the person who they lost to suicide. So that event was held, and we certainly keep in mind all those who have experienced a loss of somebody to suicide. We also recently, on another note, received 2 different distributions from the Department of Health and Human Services. We received about $324,000 from the Department of Health and Human Services from American Rescue Plan rural payments.
And those payments came out at the end of November. There were more than 40,000 rural providers throughout the United States and the Washington, D.C. and 6 territories who received ARPA funds that were directed towards rural healthcare providers. And then we also received a Phase 4 Health and Human Services COVID-19 general distribution. That was a little over $100,000. It went to healthcare providers who have been affected by the COVID pandemic. And it's based on providers' lost revenues and changes in operating expenses between July 1st of 2020 to March 31st of 2021. And so what they take a look at is what your general revenues would have been during that time period compared to then what your actual revenues generated during that period of time is. So the good news is they don't take a look at other federal funding that's brought in during that time period because it's part of the whole COVID relief distribution. There was $17 billion that was made available to healthcare providers throughout the United States that was directed towards lost revenues and changes in those operating expenses. On another note, the state has finally announced its plan to lift the moratorium on admissions to the state hospital. If you remember, the moratorium to admissions was placed on Osawatomie State Hospital in June of 2015. And what the moratorium meant essentially was that people who recognized that they were a danger to themselves or others and were willing to seek treatment were not allowed to be admitted to the state hospital. And the moratorium was put in place because of the findings of an audit that showed there had been a sexual assault prior to that of a staff member at the hospital, and the audit demonstrated that the hospital was overcrowded and unsafe for patients and staff alike. And so the moratorium was the state's initiative to try to get a handle on safety issues and crowding issues. The impact of that has been longer wait periods for people seeking admission to the state hospital. Part of why the state feels that it's timely to go ahead and lift the moratorium is they've developed a couple of different initiatives that are meant to reduce the number of people who might be requesting services at the state hospital. One certainly has been the investment that they've made in crisis stabilization units throughout the state. And the CSU, like here in Manhattan, of course, is intended to help provide services to people earlier in their crisis episodes so that we're able to avert an eventual hospitalization of the state psychiatric hospital. But the other initiative that the state has implemented is something called State Institution Alternative Hospitals. And so we also refer to it as SIA. And so there are 8 SIAs in Kansas. And what that is those are private psychiatric hospitals that have agreed to take people on an involuntary basis. And so they've agreed to take people who normally, for whom the state hospital would have been the only option in the past. And so these 8 different hospitals in Kansas are reducing some of the workload or are reducing some of the demand on the state psychiatric hospital. And so the hope is that between the combination of CSUs, the SIAs, which again are those state institution alternatives, and then the state hospital, that both individuals who recognize their need for treatment and those that don't recognize their need for treatment could be served by the state psychiatric hospital. Now, they do have a plan in place that once the census reaches 85% capacity at the state hospital, that they'll then freeze any admissions of voluntary patients to the state hospital, which means we then would just have to look for another option. Part of why they're doing that is they want to leave that 15% sort of margin for people that might need involuntary admission to the state psychiatric hospital. And then once the census goes down below 85% capacity, then they would reopen to voluntary patients. I think what's going to be interesting is for us to watch what the demand looks like after January 3rd. And how often people who recognize their need for treatment are actually admitted to the state psychiatric hospital, and how often the hospital is running above 85% capacity. I think that'll be the real test as to whether or not lifting the moratorium has any real or meaningful kind of impact on people who are recognizing their need for treatment. And one of the reasons that somebody who recognizes their need for treatment might choose the state hospital over some other facility would be those individuals who don't have health insurance or who don't have a payer source. Because somebody without a payer source who needs treatment has a harder time finding a place to receive treatment than somebody who does have a payer source or somebody who does have health insurance. So I think the verdict is still out, but we're certainly glad that they're lifting that moratorium and hope that it will make things easier for people as they're reaching out to receive services. I did want to also mention that, of course, the holidays are coming up, and we will be closed this Friday and next Monday for the Christmas holidays. And then we'll be closed Friday, December 31st for the New Year holiday. And of course, the CSU will remain open 24/7 as always, but our general offices for outpatient services will be closed those 3 days in recognition of the holidays. So any questions for me?
I don't have anything. Catherine, have anything?
No, I'm good. Thank you very much.
Yep, thank you.
Okay, Merry Christmas.
Okay, Merry Christmas to you.
Okay.
And I'll see you next year.
Yes, we'll definitely see each other next year.
Yeah,
That's right.
very good.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Mhm. Yeah, that speaker issue again.
Just kind of started.
About the same time, same place. Okay, well, in the meantime, that was the last agenda item for the day, so we have anything else?
It sounded kind of final.
Didn't realize. Now let's hope. Didn't realize how loud that was.
Minus,
Just broke the whole machine.
just funds the crap out of it. Okay. Works for me. Does anybody have anything else for the end of today's meeting?
No additional business,
No.
commissioners.
Catherine, did you have anything else? I think she made.
No, I don't. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, we'll accept a motion to adjourn then.
I'll move to adjourn.
Okay, I can go ahead and second that motion.
I
for
would
this-
second that.
Okay, she can second that, that's fine. It's been moved to
Yeah, I
second adjournment of the December 20th, 2021 meeting of the Riley County Commissioners. All those in favor?